Welcome in to the Lulu Land. Appreciate all my folks. Your host, Uncle Rice. Y'all already know what it is. I hope everybody's enjoying their day so far. Make sure you come on in, pop in, lock in. Let me know what city you're watching from so I can show some love from my city to yours. Check this out, y'all people. Here we go. Go ahead and check out the chat. Come on in, folks. Come on in. Got a little music vibe playing right now. Turn that down a little bit so it ain't too loud. For everybody that's watching, I hope you enjoying your day so far. I definitely wanted to come in and drop a live. Just got finished doing one over on TikTok, so I said, hey, all my folks on Facebook, I want to come through and have a good conversation with you. So, welcome in. Hope you enjoying your day so far. Hope your weekend went well, and hopefully you had a great new year. New year, new money, positivity, good things, and trying to make sure that we bring some knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I appreciate everybody as you come in. Make sure you drop your city in the comments so that way I know who I'm talking to and where you represent from, so I can show you some love from my city to yours. Got another great conversation tonight. Got a few videos I want to go over. A few questions that I had that I formulated just so we could chop it up and make sure that we have a great conversation. So we're going to get started in a minute. Grab your snack, get you something to drink, kick back. Hopefully you're relaxing your feet from work. Come on in with me so we can have a vibe. If you're coming in from the Delulu Land videos, which are going bonkers right now, I appreciate you. I definitely do. Just remember, everything I say is all to help everybody find the right relationship and not come with this Delulu logic that seems to have divorce rates and breakups higher than helicopter blades. We're going to kick it off with our first video of the night. I'm not going to hold y'all long on it. Cut this music off, and we're going to get to the very first. We got my man Keith watching from the Valley in Vegas. Appreciate you. So, the first topic that we're going to get to tonight is a single mother speaking about why single mothers should have higher standards than any other woman and how men should respect those standards. Of course, we're going to present a question to you, but before we do that, I want you to check our video out. Let me know what you think. You chop it up with me in the comments, and we're going to let her do her thing. Let's go.
Stupidest questions that I keep seeing over and over again is raggedy little boys asking single mothers, what were the high standards before you became a single mother? Like, obviously not all there. We were young ones. We live, we learn, we make mistakes. And that is how we figure out what we want out of life. That is how we truly get to know ourselves. And the key to everything is doing better, is learning from our mistakes. Because now we don't just have us to watch out for. We have another human being that we have to watch out for. And do you not know how many sick men are out there that target single mothers just to mess with their kids? Like, that is the reason why single mothers should have high standards, to protect us and our kids from men like you.
Flag on the play. First and foremost, I totally get it. Single moms should have high standards. But at the same time, that does not mean that every man should honor some of the outrageous standards that some of the single moms have. Not only that, but we also have to realize that your past does matter. This whole thing about I was young and that's why I should be excused. We all were young, and let's keep it real. Men make mistakes in their youth that follow them the rest of their lives. Drop a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. If a man did something wrong and then he had to go away on one of them vacations that people call vacations, but really wasn't a vacation, that stays with him. And there are some women who will not date that man strictly because of the situation that he had maybe when he was 21. He's 45 now, but she's still looking at his record. So is it unfair that a man looks at that woman's record the same way that women look at a man's record? I don't think it is. Y'all tell me what you think in the chat. Don't be a single mom. Easy. For my man Chad. I genuinely think that many times accountability is like trying to feed a garlic sandwich to Dracula when you're dealing with a Delulu Delilah. It's really that simple. Because how about, you know what? I made my bed. I'm going to lie in it. And if it means that I can't get the type of man I dreamed of, then so be it. Why? Because I made decisions in the past that may or may not affect my future. More than likely, they will. And it definitely affects who will date you. It is not a bad thing for a man to say, you know what? I don't have no kids and I'm not dating a single mom. It's not a bad thing for a man to say, you know what? I got kids and frankly, I don't want to have to deal with somebody else's kids and their kids' father. We have to genuinely understand that. What's up to my man Jared in the building? The Joey said, women act like having a baby is not a choice, and we all know it is, right? Drop a one in the chat if you agree with that. They've made it clear that that's totally a choice, and it's totally a choice that belongs to who? It don't belong to us. We don't get no choice. The only choice we have is when we make it. That's it. That's all. Courtney say, why do we as men got to pay for it? She made the mistake. You got to pay for them high value men. And you know what? I'm gonna read that on the big screen, bro. For real. I want to make sure I read that one. Let's just make sure it's that. All right, Courtney. Now, you say, why do we as men got to pay for it? She made the mistake. You got to pay for them high value men in her purview are just as good men, not the amount of money the new man makes. And this is the thing. The whole thing about why single moms shouldn't have to deal with men feeling like they do is because of this mindset about getting that rich man, getting that man that's got this, that, and the third. But let's keep it real. You might not get that, baby. You may not get that. And if you don't, you have to be 100 with that simply because you made your bed and the choices you made. It's no reset button. You can't hit the restart button. You can't say, you know what, I messed up 3 times and now I'm better. And guess what? You got to raise up to these high standards. No man in 2026 is going to deal with that that's worth his salt. Why? Because men put a lot into trying to be who we are. See, when women show up, many times they already have the value that men have to bust their ass to build. That's just the truth of it. It's just how things work. We have to build value in order for women to want us. Women can walk outside and there's going to be some man, maybe not the man of her dreams, but there's going to be some man that wants her. That's the truth. And not wanting to deal with that is why we have such a disconnect on why some guys don't put dating a single mom on their yearly planner. It's just not what some guys are going to do. Because at the end of the day, you want to make sure that the people that you providing for ain't going to turn around and tell you, you ain't my father. Drop a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. Nobody wants to feel like that. You done paid for everything, did everything, and now when the kid mess up and you say one word, the mama want to jump down your back about it. If that man can't come in and move like a father 150%, then what are we doing here? What's the real point if that man can't come in and do everything that he would do as a father in his own home? Jared said, women of the blank are a group of people who were viewed of themselves as always good. They never take accountability and think sometime it could be them. They need accountability, and it's about time for them to open an account. This is the thing. We have to, as men, we have to take accountability. Hell, in everything we do, they'll come get us if we don't, right? And we know when girls grow up, a lot of times people never tell them no. They might hear no 1 or 2 times from their mom or from their father, if their father was there. But many times little girls grow up and never hear no. They never hear no. What's up, Randy, in the building from Phoenix? I appreciate you, bro. Glad to see you on the live. I genuinely believe that there's somebody for everybody, but people need to date their speed. If you know you put yourself on the slow track and not the fast track, then understand something, honey. You don't get a chance to run on the fast track no more. If there's rules that keeps you out of that echelon of women who will get those top tier earners, then understand you either follow those rules or you're not going to be in that group of women that man picks from. It's not about what you want. It is in a way, but it's not. Because at the end of the day, the men are the one, we hold access to marriage. We hold access to committed relationships and providing for a woman. And as you all say, retiring you from this hard life that you have to work. We hold that access. So if we hold that access, do we not have that selection of saying, you know what, I'm not giving it to her? Why? Because, man, I'm not dealing with that man she got kids with. I'm not dealing with that whole situation. I got a video that's going to tie right into this, and then we're going to go into the next one. And this one has to do with exactly that. A man coming into a woman's life who has a child and the problems that came along with it. I call this one, he doesn't like my kid. All right, let's go.
So I've been in a new relationship for 2 years with a man who has 2 kids. I have 1 son. The kids get along. But I can feel, because female intuition, that he's not like super into my kid. My kid's not a bad kid. He's just a teenager. And like a little challenging. Like he'll challenge people. But like for conversation purposes. He's not like a yes guy, you know? And he really likes fairness. And so he's got just this kind of like strong kind of rule book, my kid. Anyway, we all went to Europe together this summer to visit my mom. And of course that was challenging. We spent 2 weeks all together traveling together. It was probably, we bit off way more than we could chew there. So we'd been together for a year at this point. And I think we were like very naive to the fact that would be a lot. Like 5 to 7 days might have been a whole hell of a lot better, but it's okay. We learned. But in that time, obviously, things came up, you know, nothing terrible again. But since then, he's really it's been really clear that we used to be invited over for dinners and stuff like that. And we're not anymore. My son's not invited. And we come to Christmas, and I just assumed we would be like spending Christmas all together, because we did last year before our trip, Christmas Day. But this year he didn't really bring up Christmas, so I finally had to bring up Christmas, because I was like, are we doing Christmas together? Like Christmas Eve, part of Christmas Day? And he gave me some like cockamamie story about like this might be the last Christmas with his boys, and when my son is around, his boys run off with my son and they just play. And I was just like, okay. So I didn't spend Christmas with my boyfriend, who lives 12 minutes away. I'm like generationally sad about this, and I also am just like, whoa. Big deal or deal breaker?
Or deal breaker. Big deal or deal breaker. Now, first thing I noticed, let me go to Courtney. Challenging kid. Sounds like that kid missed some whoopings. It made me a top 1% earner having those. Now, Courtney, let me just say this, brother. I heard the exact same thing you did. It sounds to me immediately, if you notice, when we go back through this video, the first thing she did was defended her son's actions as if her son can do no wrong. I get it. You're a mom. That's your only child. You're going to defend him to the bitter end. But that man has to put up with your child challenging him. As Courtney said, a challenging kid. And we have to, as my man just said, live in reality. Jared said that sometimes, even though they have their father and the mother and the father always treat them like a princess and co-sign on that will grow up with the right mindset. Sometimes parents and relatives need to tell their children the truth about themselves. The sooner they start, the better. Live in reality. And this is a good example of that, Jared, because this young lady here doesn't seem to understand why the man she's dealing with doesn't want her son around. And she's upset, obviously, because she figures since it's her child and he loves her, he should be in love with her child. But we have to look at the meat and potatoes of this thing. Her son obviously is not respecting this man in the way this man is demanding respect. Her son also is an influence, whether good or bad, on this man's children. That's probably why he doesn't want his kids around her son. This happens more times than what people like to admit, because the fact of the matter is, if mama is always coddling her son and mama is always defending him, and he can say anything he wants to her boyfriend, but her boyfriend, I'm sure, has to put the muzzle on to keep his mouth shut so he don't upset his old lady, that is going to cause a rift to the point where that man is probably going to want to show her tail lights and tailpipes. Randy say, take care of your problem, or I'm Bennett and I ain't in it. Randy, let's be honest here too. Nothing feels worse than being with somebody and literally you can tell that their child don't want you with them. It could be partly that. And many times moms, especially only children, they won't believe that. She thinks for some reason that the man just won't deal with her challenging son. Naturally, as a man, the word challenge, if we're talking about a kid, is a little bit much to deal with. I shouldn't be getting challenged by your child. Drop a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. I don't care if the father's in his life or not. I'm not dealing with a child that challenges me, because I don't have a child that challenges me or other adults. We have conversations. And when my kids were considered as children, hell no. So I'm definitely not letting, because I'm with you, I'm going to let your son just say and do anything he want to. That ain't happening. That is not happening. And for most men that are solid men, they ain't going to stand for that. What man is going to sit and be challenged by a teenager in a home where he's probably paying bills? And no, he has his own spot. She has her own spot. Her son has probably been the man of her house for years. Drop a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. Her son's probably been the man of the house for years. And now he see dude coming around and he laying up with mama and mama giving this man attention. Many times when boys only have their mama around, that boy is more defensive than an ex-boyfriend, ex-husband, or ex-anything. That child will be the reason why you ain't with that woman. It has happened too many times. It's happened to too many men I know, and I see it. And sometimes I've seen women leave men because men won't control their kids. See, we don't talk about that a lot, but the shoe is on both feet on this one. Sometimes women leave men because the man don't control their child. But more so than that, men leave women alone because you ain't got your son in check. Like Randy said, her king, her challenging king, that because you like her, you're supposed to deal with. Would you deal with a woman if you can't deal with her kids? Would you deal with a woman who has kids who are not adults? Would you deal with a woman who whose kids were against you and didn't like you. They got to go down the street for the people. I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. And the reason I wouldn't is because I'm going to make sure my children are in line. Your son's not going to be a challenging kid with me. If he has no medical issues and no reasons to be a challenged child, I'm not going to sit up and let your child challenge me. You either check your child or I'm checking him. And if I can't check him for being disrespectful, you can leave and he can leave. I can show you taillights and tailpipes. Simple said put. My man Kevin say, today, brother, it happens all the time. And don't get me wrong. There are plenty of good women who have children, and there are plenty of good women who will make sure their children are well behaved. Courtney said, when it comes to a relationship, that boy will grow and leave. Does she really want a real man? Because that's what is left. If this man cannot discipline, then don't ask me to buy the house, car, etc. Because I ain't a sucker. I agree totally. I agree 1,000%. 1,000%. Because at the end of the day, as a man, all we got in this world is our respect. And if I'm sitting here letting your child disrespect me all off of the strength of me loving you, I look like an idiot to you, don't I? I look like one of them guys that you could get anything over on. I look like one of those guys that you got wrapped around your finger. And the minute she sees that is the minute she loses respect for you. I don't care what anybody says. If a woman see that she could walk on you, respect is gone. If a woman see that you'll bow down because I'm going to be nice to her kid, because if I don't let him say what he want to say, she going to leave me alone. Gentlemen, I urge you, even if it ends the relationship, you have to be real enough to let her know, look, you need to check your son or I'm going to check your son. That kid will end up being a son husband. He already is one. You see, I'm going to play this again for the folks that just came in the chat.
So I've been in a new relationship for 2 years with a man who has 2 kids. I have 1 son. The kids get along. But I can feel, because female intuition, that he's not like super into my kid. My kid's not a bad kid. He's just a teenager. And like a little challenging. Like he'll challenge people. But like for conversation purposes. He's not like a yes guy, you know? And he really likes fairness. And so he's got just this kind of like strong kind of rule book, my kid.
Welcome in, Miss Sarah.
Anyway, we all went to Europe together this summer to visit my mom. And of course that was challenging. We spent 2 weeks all together, traveling together. It was probably, we bit off way more than we could chew there. So we'd been together for a year at this point. And I think we were like very naive to the fact that that would be a lot. Like 5 to 7 days might have been a whole hell of a lot better, but it's okay. We learned. But in that time, obviously, things came up, you know? Nothing terrible, again. But since then, he's really kind of, it's been really clear that we used to be invited over for dinners and stuff like that. And we're not anymore. My son's not invited. And we come to Christmas, and I just assumed we would be like spending Christmas all together, because we did last year before our trip, Christmas Day. But this year he didn't really bring up Christmas, so I finally had to bring up Christmas, because I was like, are we doing Christmas together? Like Christmas Eve, part of Christmas Day? And he gave me some like cockamamie story about like this might be the last Christmas with his boys, and when my son is around, his boys run off with my son and they just play. And I was just like, okay. So I didn't spend Christmas with my boyfriend, who lives 12 minutes away. I'm like generationally sad about this, and I also am just like, whoa. Big deal or deal breaker?
Now, Joni said, I totally agree with you, and I'm a female. I wouldn't put up with my son being disrespectful to anyone, especially the man of the home. I agree with that totally. We got Shelly Ann. Hey, welcome in, welcome in. If a woman is married to a man that's not the father of her child, then he should be able to discipline the child. If not, he needs to rethink his options. And Courtney said, challenging in her terms is disrespect and fairness. The world is not fair. What the hell has this kid been taught? That's what isn't fair. And let me just say, this situation goes on way more than what we talk about. We talk about a lot of the Lulu things and crazy stuff people say, but this is a real situation. This isn't like made for TV. And many times you see so many parents take this position. Well, we bit off more than we could chew. How about you check your son? Oh, well, he's just a little challenging. You don't want to use the word bad, huh? You have to look at your children sometime from an outside perspective. If that child is sitting up here arguing with this man, talking about, oh, things came up. No, y'all probably argued about the fact that your son was disrespectful. And since he saw that you weren't going to check your son, he don't want your son around his kids. He don't want your son at his house. And many times that's going to ruin the relationship. Now, I know folks might say that's overboard, but drop a 1 in the chat if you agree with that. If she don't figure it out, I think the man already done figured it out because he took a hard stance on it. I don't want him back at my house. Is he wrong for saying, I don't want that kid back in my house? If he can't respect me, I don't want him here around my children. I don't think that man's wrong at all. Because you know what? If the roles were reversed, I would expect a woman to say the same thing. Look, your son does way too many things that my kids don't do. I don't want your son around my kids. If a woman said that, you'd have to understand it and respect it, because you have to know that his kids are looking at her son disrespect their father. What do you think that makes his kids think of him? How do you think his kids are looking at him while he's sitting up like a bootlicker, basically? Oh, the only reason Pop's acting like that because he won't hurt. Sarah say, no, I don't think he's wrong at all. Shelly Ann said he's not wrong. Randy said men and women look at their kids differently. Does it make it right? No. And I appreciate you saying that. Kevin said, I just got out of a relationship for 2 years with this lady. I did everything I could financially, emotionally, physically, all of it. But her children were able to talk about me any way they wanted to. And after a while, I got tired of it. Now I'm single and I'm at peace. And women will say, where are all the good men at? Why won't men date single moms? It's not that men won't date single moms. The extenuating circumstances that comes around a single mom has to be handled by her, just like the extenuating circumstances that comes with being a single father has to be handled by him. It's really that simple. Y'all give me a second. Let me answer my call real quick. I think I got my son on the line. Give me a second. Or maybe I don't. Let me just resume that there.
So I've been in a new relationship for 2 years with a man who has 2 kids. I have 1 son. The kids get along. But I can feel, because female intuition, that he's not like super into my kid. My kid's not a bad kid. He's just a teenager. And like a little challenging, like he'll challenge people, but like for conversation purposes. He's not like a yes guy, you know? And he really likes fairness. And so he's got just this kind of like strong kind of rule book, my kid. Anyway, we all went to Europe together this summer to visit my mom, and of course that was challenging. We spent 2 weeks all together traveling together. It was probably, we bit off way more than we could chew there. So we'd been together for a year at this point. And I think we were like very naive to the fact that that would be a lot. Like 5 to 7 days might have been a whole hell of a lot better, but it's okay. We learned. But in that time, obviously, things came up, you know? Nothing terrible, again. But since then, he's really it's been really clear that we used to be invited over for dinners and stuff like that, and we're not anymore. My son's not invited. And we come to Christmas, and I just assumed we would be like spending Christmas all together, because we did last year before our trip, Christmas Day. But this year he didn't really bring up Christmas, so I finally had to bring up Christmas, because I was like, are we doing Christmas together, like Christmas Eve, part of Christmas Day? And he gave me some like cockamamie story about like this might be the last Christmas with his boys, and when my son is around, his boys run off with my son and they just play. And I was just like, okay. So I didn't spend Christmas with my boyfriend, who lives 12 minutes away. I'm like generationally sad about this, and I also am just like, whoa. Big deal or deal breaker?
You know, and I apologize, y'all, on that, because I had to just run through here real quick and fix everything so we could get everything back going. Had a lot of stuff going on the computer. But anyway, though, back to what we were doing. As I said, though, I believe genuinely when you have situations like this as a parent, you got to face it head up. And if that child is not going to listen, then it's nothing else you could do. It's nothing else you could do. Sometimes I've seen parents get to the point where they say they can't control their child. Y'all got to give me a second. Let me go here. Popped in right there. I might have to shut everything down for a second, folks. I apologize. There we go. Let's go back here. Force quit that. I got to force quit a lot of stuff on the live. I apologize. Get everything back going here. There we go. I think we're good now. Finally. I apologize about that, folks. I know y'all probably like, what happened? But sometimes you got to fix things. So when I come back in, I come back in. Matter of fact, there we go. Y'all still here with me? Drop a 1 in the chat if y'all still here with me right now. Had to get it back fixed. I had too many things running at one time because I was doing 3 lives at one time. So yeah, do him the best favor. Call him and say deal breaker so he can find someone not so corrupted and in self-image and delusion. And many times it's sad to say some relationships end because of that. Now, I got 1 more to go, and then we're going to get on to a few memes and we'll be all set. And thank you all for still rocking with me, even though I had the small technical difficulty. You know, hey, us older folks, we got to learn as we go. Let's get to the next one. And this one right here is right here.
How the fuck somebody gonna ask me for my number? I lay out my intentions straightforward. Cook dinner, hang out, kids hang out together, his kids, my kids. tries to come on to me. And then says, I just want to be friends. Can the universe just stop sending me guys that aren't legit and real and upfront and honest about what their intentions are? A bitch is fed up. A bitch is fed up to here.
Now, this is my thing. First and foremost, you're bringing somebody over that you don't know that well. You're cooking and you're doing all the things, playing house, and he changed his mind. Funny how guys are not expected to change their mind. I want to say, first and foremost, just like women can change their minds, men are entitled to change their minds too. He got around you and maybe he saw that it wasn't the vibe that he thought it was. Let me read this comment right here. Nose ring is a dead giveaway of what actually is. Something gave him the reason to do that. And that's something, Richard, that I really want to pinpoint, because we're looked at as if, as men, we can't just say, you know what? I thought this was going to be good, but it ain't. Drop a 1 in the chat if that's ever happened to you as a guy. You thought she was going to be cool. You got around her. And there were some things about her that just was not your type of hype. I mean, it's happened to the best of us, I believe. It's happened to plenty of women. Ladies, haven't you hung out with a guy and 45 minutes, 2 hours into it, you were like, nah, this ain't it. But why is it that when a guy does that, he's not ready? He's not ready to commit. He's playing games. Stop sending these unprepared men toward me. Stop sending me these types of guys. But never, you know what? Maybe I might need to switch up a little something about myself. And people don't want to do that. That's just, impossible. Yep, seen that shit and dipped out. Bro, it's as simple as that. Watch her demeanor and tell me, do you get pleasant off of this? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm
How
wrong.
the fuck? Somebody gonna ask me for my number. I lay out my intentions straightforward. Cook dinner. Hang out. Kids hang out together. His kids, my kids. Tries to come on to me.
Flag on the play. Did y'all hear it? Who heard the flag? I want to know who heard the flag on the play. What is the biggest red flag that you heard from the first part of her spiel? Because I know what I just heard. It sounded pretty clear to me what I just heard. You just started talking to him. You invited him to your house. You got him bringing his kids over, playing with your kids. I know what this is. She wants the ready-made bed. Delilah wants the ready-made bed. Tries to come on to me. Had to throw that in, right? As if that makes a difference or makes it better or worse. Honey, you just met this man. You told him, I'm looking for a serious relationship. Come over for dinner. Bring the kids. They can all play together. Lady, that's the oldest trick in the book. Guys, don't fall for this. The Lulu logic. At its finest, I must say. Because, number one, damn, you just met him, gave him your number, and he already at the house. You shocked that he tried to get the cheeks too high. That shocks you. Shows you the type of guy you done invited over. He done came over to your house with his kids and he's still trying to get the cheeks. Girl, look, and now you upset because he's not around anymore? Honey, you have to stop inviting chaos in your life. Am I the only one that thinks that that sounds like an open invitation to Delulu land? Am I the only one who thinks that sounds like an open invitation to chaos? Why would you invite this man over to your house where your kids are, have him bring his kids over there, sound like a first date, and now you shocked he changed his mind? He might have saw how you parented. He might have saw how your house wasn't clean or how you kept your house. He may have went in your bathroom and it wasn't right. Anything could have happened. And when you invite a stranger, because he is a stranger, I don't care about your little text message, FaceTime, mumbo jumbo, whatever you got or did. He's a stranger. So you invite a stranger in your house who don't know nothing about you, cook him some food that he might have thought was nasty, and then wonder why that man left. Girl, please. Am I wrong? Am I being too hard on her? Let me know if I am. Because I don't think I am. And for the folks that's going to watch this later, let me know if I'm wrong here. Because I think that's a little delulu. He just didn't want to have to take her kids. Said, I'm dipping. Yes, stop the chaos, but need a huge dose of reality. Or buy a pet when the kids leave because she will alone. Men are very comfortable being alone if we want to be. And the fact of the matter is, she probably thought, now I'm going to clue you guys in for the ones who don't know. Sometimes women will see a single man, a single father that has kids in his custody, and she will go, beep, 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 beep. Yep, got him. Let's get him over here. Let me turn into mama instantly. Ready-made mama to the rescue. See, we talk about the stepdaddies, but let's talk about the ready-made mamas. The ones who know that that single dad would love to have a woman in his child's life. Lord forbid if you got a daughter, guys, and you struggling to do her hair or anything like that. They will spring into action like Batman. Seen it. I'm just saying, we have to understand that it's not always one-sided. It's not always one-sided. It's not always about what the men are doing or what the women are doing. It's the Lulu all over the damn place. And to me, personally, inviting somebody over for dinner with their kids to play with your kids the first time you ever laid eyes on them in person is absolutely delulu. Think what you want to think. Don't make a lot of sense to me though. And she really want to stand on it. Stop sending me these men that aren't ready. Ready for what? What are they ready for? What are they supposed to be ready for? He came on to me, lady. I can't with this one. All right, I got one meme I want to go over, and then I'm going to let y'all get back to y'all night. And for the person that said you didn't know I did lives, I'm going to start doing lives 5 days a week over here. I was doing them every day on TikTok also, but I think I'm going to do them on both platforms. So that way, and over on YouTube, so that way we can do what we got to do. And we could get the message out, and we could build our live audience just like our audience is for the reels. Because I want y'all to actually see me talk in real time. Know that I'm not just saying a couple words on a reel, and I can't sit here and chop it up with you if you want to have a real conversation. It's really that simple, because we have to speak out. As men, we have to speak out, and it has to be a man that's not speaking out trying to pander just to make sure he builds his following. Last one. This one is a good one right here. Me and my son was talking about this earlier. This one right here, where she tell him, Quit being so scary and tell him to leave. He said, I thought you said you broke up with him. I thought you said you broke up with him. And now look at him. Look at his face, boy. He worried. Look at dude. This is what happens when we as men don't do our homework and we trust and believe when she say, you okay? Come on over. You good? You could drop me off at home. It's fine. Remember this. Some ladies will invite you to places that you aren't welcome, brother. Because she's okay walking around in that neighborhood, don't mean you are. Look at it. Hey, dude know what time it is. You can look at the look on that brother's face. He got a suit on. He ain't trying to tussle. Dude got his black Air Force Ones on and a tank top. What do you do in that situation, guys? What do you do in that situation? Do you eat the Tuffios and jump out the car? This is my girl now. Because, see, that's what she want him to do. Quit acting scary. Tell him to leave. How do y'all think that's going to come out? How do y'all think that situation is going to end right there? Barnabas right there driving the car got to deal with Tyrone. Meanwhile, Shonda say, Barnabas, get out the car. Tell Tyrone to leave. I don't want him no more. I don't know why he here. See, this is what you don't know. I raised a bunch of girls, and this is what a lot of men don't realize. Soon as Barnabas pulls off and leave, she gonna call Tyrone up, and they gonna argue out in the driveway probably for the next 2-3 hours. Ain't dealing with Pookie or Ray Ray. Gotta watch Tyrone too. No way, drop her off and book it, block her. But let me tell you, Miss Shelly Ann, let me tell you something. You got a lot of brothers out here that weren't taught to deal with their emotions properly. You got a lot of brothers out here who didn't have no Uncle Rice, no father, or no grandpa to tell them, hey, that situation like that, you need to move around. So he's moving off of his mom's energy. And depending on what type of energy his mama poured into him, he may totally react out of nothing but emotion. Whereas a man would react out of logic, meaning I'm gone. Phyllis say, well, that's common sense. Damn, two boys need to use their head and both of them walk off and leave. That's not you, Phyllis. I understand that is in a perfect world, Phyllis. That's how it should go. But gentlemen, is that how it usually goes? Most of the time, Barnabas end up getting pulled out of his shirt and tie and pulled all over the parking lot. And then Shonda sits up and she tells him, oh, you just go home and get yourself together. And then here come Tyrone back over to her house. That's usually how that ends. Because when the breakup is fresh, well, I see all the ladies be saying, girl, what you waiting on? Go ahead and go out. Go ahead and go out. Go out with anybody. I don't care if y'all just broke up 4 days ago. Girl, you need to go out. Find something to do. Go have fun. Not thinking about the man's well-being that she trying to bring back to her house. Randy said, Italian love for you, bro. Keep spreading the good word for us men in the world. I'm just doing my part, Randy. I appreciate you in abundance, bro. You know that. But more times than not, them two dudes end up moving furniture. More times than not, they end up scuffling, knuckling, or somebody end up getting stretched out. That's the world we live in. Because you know what? One dude love her. The other dude don't know her, but he in the situation. And we might say, well, that man don't love her. She left him alone. He should understand and walk away. I saw a woman last night on some YouTube police show get arrested because she saw her boyfriend with another woman, even though they had broken up 3 months ago. She lost it. So all of this talking about, it should be, I agree, Phyllis, it should be. That ain't normally how it happened at all. Randy say, never getting married. Hey, Randy, I've been married 25 years, and I tell a brother, do what's best for you. I'm not one of them dudes that's going to jump on here and tell you, you need to get married. No, you need to do what you feel like is best for you, brother. Shout out to you and appreciate you stopping in. But, so Randy, what would you do in this situation right here? If you was the brother sitting in the car, you went out with this beautiful woman, and then y'all pulled up back to the house. She said, well, we go back to my house. And then next you know, Tyrone come walking up ready to pull you out your shirt and tie. Are you going to scuffle with him? Are you going to pull off? What's a man to do in my Carl Thomas voice? Which I don't sound anything like Carl Thomas, but in my Carl Thomas voice, what's a man to do? Let's not act like you won't get put in that situation if you're currently dating, if you don't do your homework. This one was kind of funny right here, y'all. Why is T-Bone always late? You got Johnisha, the nurse, and T-Bone. T-Bone ain't worked in 4 years. But, hey, T-Bone is doing something right, I guess. Somebody explain the dynamic of the professional woman who wants the bad guy. Why do we see this so often? I worked in the medical field. I saw this all the time. So anybody could deny it. Anybody can deny it. But I've seen this more times than not. Randy say, for the last meme, well, if I'm forced to defend myself, I will. But if I could walk away from the situation without having to defend myself physically, I'll accept that too. Man, that's one of the best answers I've seen on this question across all platforms, bro. So shout out to you. Because for real, that's the real answer. Man, if I could get away from that situation, I am. But before I go, ladies, gentlemen, why is it that some folks be so educated, yet so game goofy? They do all the right things to get educated, get the good job, got the good position, turn right around, start dating T-Bone and be wondering where the hell they car at. She got off at 3. T-Bone showed up at 7. Date chumps, that's what you get. I dated a nurse too and heard all the stories of guys that don't work at all, and these are the men they select. Bro, shout out to you, Courtney, because it's rare that a lot of guys actually admit that. It happens all the time. And you'll be thinking to yourself like, what the? But it happens all the time. Education and intelligence are different. I like that because that's very true. Because some of the most highly educated ladies I've ever seen in my life literally was as game goofy as it gets. As Pops will say, can't find their ass with both hands in their back pockets. But think they know everything. until they run across T-Bone, and then she getting off from work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and T-Bone coming to pick up at 9. Talking about, I thought you got off at 9:30, baby. I tried to get here early to get you. I didn't know you got off at 3. No idea why they picked the bad dudes. It's weird, but it's real. Seen it too many times. I'm talking about head of surgery, charge nurse, director of nursing. Thanks, but I usually don't go to the women's house because a lot of women don't like to cut off their prior ex. And some of those exes don't want to let them go as well. That's true, Randy. But when it comes down to these situations like this, guys, that's why I tell you to do your homework, because she can be beautiful, she can be professional, she can be educated, and you can go visit her. And when you finally spend the night and just, oh, this was the most amazing night, you wake up and T-Bone sitting at the end of the bed. Talking about who is you. Not who are you, who is you. T-Bone sitting at the end of the bed now. He done got the ups on you, bro. You ain't got nothing on but your socks. And T-Bone at the end of the bed with his black Air Force Ones on. Probably got black gloves on too, Red. Hey. I'm going to end this live by saying, guys, do your homework. All that looks good ain't good, and all that tastes sweet ain't candy. No matter how pretty she is, even if she's your type, and you want to put that woman in your life, if you find out when you dealing with her that T-Bone is waiting around the corner, show her ass taillights and tailpipes. And I appreciate all y'all for watching tonight. I'm about to get ready to eat again and relax. Y'all enjoy y'all night. If you haven't followed the page, please do so. Check out the new Delulu Land videos, brand new videos every day. And if you enjoyed the live, I will make sure I do more lives on Facebook and YouTube. That way we all could get a chance to chop it up. Appreciate you, Richard. Appreciate you to the fullest, brother. Make sure you pop in with me on the videos. I'll see you sometime on there. Hey, Randy, you already know, bro. When Uncle Rice talk, I'm going to talk heavy. Always. I appreciate all y'all. You already know, Courtney. Make sure, if you ain't followed already, Courtney, make sure you pop in. I appreciate you too, Randy. Hey, enjoy y'all brothers coming in. We going to build this boy till it's 150, 200, 1,000 people in the room, because we going to keep on talking. And if they don't listen, we going to keep on talking, because it's time for some man speak, and it's time to get rid of the Lulu logic. Hey, I appreciate you, Miss Shelly Ann. Let me go down the road, too, because I had another lady in here, too, and I want to make sure I don't miss her, because you know it be troubled water. Sometimes the ladies avoid it. Miss Phyllis always has supported the content. I appreciate you, Miss Phyllis. I will catch you guys tomorrow. Enjoy your night. Happy New Year if I haven't told you already. And more Delulu soon to come.